Yeah, yeah.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a
Hey.
tutti.
What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC. We were hoping it was going to be, Victory Sunday. Unfortunately, we got a draw to discuss and a lot to tackle in the aftermath as feelings are kind of mixed on how costly is that for Juve, all right, and what went down. But we've got a lot to talk about. Tech fighting the good fight for the Bianconeri with a subtle dig at the FIGC, all right. And we got a lot in the news to tackle. Chiesa, all eyes on the fitness leading into that big match, which just became a lot more important with this result of yesterday. But again, they're talking to, and I hope they don't slip on a banana peel today, potentially. So let's see what happens, all right? But I'm pumped to have L'Arbitro Nick with me. Nick, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Alberto. Thanks for having me today. Really nice
Oh,
to be
yeah,
here.
absolutely, man. We've had you on before. It's an absolute pleasure. And you do a fantastic job with the write ups. We really appreciate it. I've loved having that and adding that. And how fitting we have a moment in this game for you to tackle and break down for us, this time live, all right? And give us your thoughts on the ref in general. But we will get there. Again, we got a couple little things, pieces of business, and we still got to say what's up to the Army, all right? But birthday boys, Vlahovic, Gigi Buffon, all right? So tanti auguri go out to the birthday boys, Gigi Buffon. The post off our main there had one of a nice little quote about Gigi when asked about studying PK shooters, and he says, "No, in my hotel room I don't watch penalties. I watch naughty videos." Gigi's an absolute legend, all right. So tanti auguri to the absolute GOAT. All right. Now we got Moise Keane all wrapped up and another next gen signing. And we've got Pedro Felipe, 19 years old. All right. And that's set to get finalized. We will get to the news and more after. We have to go through this match because there's so much to talk about. But of course, what's up to everybody in the arm? Vincenzo coming in here, winner of the kit he chose, the Gatti kit that should be arriving to him shortly. Congratulations to Vincenzo. All right, Tony Trim coming in here saying, calma, calma tutti, season is a marathon, not a sprint. I still believe. Oh yeah, you have to. James up here, ciao guys. Woke up calm and serene, as Max would say. There you go. Alex B, ciao tutti, Toy Tribin, Max we trust, B, buongiorno tutti. Long season was a setback, but these things happen. Need to refocus for Inter next week. Absolutely, we'll get to all that. And ciao to Jace KP, ciao to Michael Razzo, all right? We're going to have some fun today regardless of that draw because there's a lot to talk about. Now, the starting lineup. This has been grossly dissected and looked at, all right, after what went down. And look, one of the things that frustrated me out of this one beyond Milik, but we will talk about that, was just that left side in general I was concerned about. And I said it in the match previously. I said it on this one. I do not like what Miretti and Kostic have going on. It's seemingly nothing going on, all right? You throw Sandro into the mix, I was terrified. I had a few drinks, Nick, when I saw that on that left side and what we were going to see. But Sandro was not a problem. Sandro actually played very well for himself. But Miretti and Kostic continue to be this kind of hole there on the left side that nothing really happens out of. And furthermore, Miretti is just showing some individual struggles that we've always kind of felt there with him. So one of the only good things about Miretti is kind of this positioning thing and finding pockets of space, but he's unable to execute at a level that makes it an advantage to you as a team. And with Yildiz as well, it was not working and the two weren't gelling as well. But with Milik in there, maybe a little bit better, but I just don't think so. My concern was the left side. What were your thoughts on that lineup when we got it, Nick? And obviously it was Tech, Gatti, Bremer, Sandro, Cambiaso, McKennie, Locatelli, Miretti, Kostic with Vlahovic and Milik up top.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Rabiot is proving himself without even being on the field right now. That's how stressed out I think we all are about Miretti. we've talked. I know you've talked a ton about Ealing getting more minutes from Kostic. Is that even still worth a discussion? We just gotta, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Other than that, I was okay with the lineup. I think the other point was not putting in Rugani instead of Alexandro. A lot of people were upset about that. In the end, it worked out. I don't think that was a problem. Probably not worth mentioning. But other than that, it's also hard to criticize Max, I think, for putting in Milik instead of Yildiz. Look, there's a lot of games. You got to rotate your players. Um, you can't predict that a player is going to get sent off. If he played terribly and maybe scored an own goal, did something tactically on the field wrong, sure, criticize Max. But a player getting sent off in the 18th minute, you can't put that on the coach.
Yeah, and I mean we will get to my criticisms of Max because I do have some out of this game, okay, but it's definitely not over starting Milik, and like you said, you don't bank on that. And number one, whether a player is 18, 20 years old, 21, or a vet like Milik would not, I don't expect any of them to put their teammates and their coach in that position because he put Max also in a position where now all of a sudden we got to think about what the hell's going on out there. And you had McKennie on a knock that looked like he was grimacing, trying to shake off for a while too. And it's just like there was a lot to look at there. And yeah, it's just it's infuriating. That's one of the infuriating things. And like we said in the like it has on the title for this show, big mistake, and then parentheses, mistakes. We'll talk about them, okay? But the lineup should have been more than enough. But things get interesting when you take a card that early. And we'll talk about this game. We'll quickly go through the highlights because there's way more in the aftermath than what actually went down on the pitch. But 5 minutes in, we get a free kick from decent range. Vlahovic tries to sneak another one in there. Caprile looks like it's going out. If it hung up a little bit higher, might have been in there. And a decent attempt from that range goes out for a corner kick. All right. In the 15th minute, 10 minutes later, this is just where I lose my head when Milik, after losing the ball, goes in with a challenge that I find absolutely stupid in that situation, in that moment, okay? When you've got nothing happening, no harm, no danger, you simply lost the ball, and he goes in and he puts himself in a compromising position with the referee. Gets a yellow originally, but they do check it for dangerous and foul play. Nick, it's time for you to earn your money here on this one, so let's go. Your evaluation on the ref, and then this one, there was a lot fighting, saying that no red card. For me, it was a red card. But Nick, you got the honors, buddy.
Yeah, so yesterday, Marinelli, look, there's a few things possibly to criticize him for. The red card is not one of them, other than the fact maybe he should have seen it on the field, to be honest. Very obvious red card for me. But in general, there were different phases to the game. I was explaining this to you, right? Before the red card, Juve playing a man down, but winning, and then with the game tied. So adjusting your foul identification, what fouls we're calling, what yellow cards we're giving, is okay to change slightly, right? So maybe something you call early in the first half, you now need to start getting stricter with later in the game. That's okay. Refs are expected to do that. However, we see that inconsistency right on that last Empoli free kick with Vlahovic getting pushed very clearly and him stopping play, getting all annoyed, and the referee saying, no, play on, right? And
Yeah.
what I think happened to Marinelli was this, to get more technical, which I'm glad I'm here. I can get a little more technical here. His issue was a positioning issue. He wasn't getting in between those lines where he needed to see those calls. During the game when we were 11v11, he was reading the game great. He was moving great, getting to where he needed to be. The second Juve went a man down, he had trouble reading the game, reading the tactics, and just wasn't able to be consistent.
Yeah.
So I think his issue yesterday was more of a read the game issue, more of a technical issue rather than I don't know what I'm doing with the calls. He wasn't able to be consistent because of the tactics.
Yeah, it was for me, he was just really, really inconsistent. But as far as the Milik one goes, it's a red. It's an easy red. The second I saw it, on the live watch along, I was actually looking at some comments, and then I was checking something on the numbers on the feed on the phone, and I actually missed the challenge. I had to watch it on the replay. And I heard the commentary say yellow card, and I was like, okay, so Milik's got a yellow. And then all of a sudden it went to checking red. I saw there was a bunch saying, no, never a red card, not a red card. There's still some today that were commenting on reaction videos from yesterday saying not a red card. For me, when I watch it on replay immediately, I say, yes, he's getting sent off. Like, that's a red card. It's an easy red for me too when you look at it. I understand the frustrations when we look at other plays. Obviously, Berardi, Malinovsky, that didn't get them, that I believe should have also been reds.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand the frustration. Szczesny with a
Yes.
subtle dig, and rightfully so, saying that, yes, it's a red card, as was Berardi's, as was Malinovsky's, which were rightfully whistled, even though, and that's a nice subtle dig, so not calling them directly out, but everybody knows what's going on. That makes me appreciate Szczesny just a little bit more, okay? Fighting the fight. Not complaining, not bitching, but just making sure you're aware we see the receipts, okay? And they're there and for all to see. So very, very nice, subtle touch from Szczesny. Now, this was a game changer. I called it on the watch line. Like, now all of a sudden, something that should have been a business-like, very straightforward game becomes compromised and very, very interesting now. And you have to make calls. Now all of a sudden, I was saying, as that first half was continuing, a guy like Miretti, now all of a sudden you don't kind of have that freedom for the growing pains. It's either like you start cooking or we got to get the next guy out there. You can't afford one guy out of that remaining 10 to all of a sudden not be able to produce. Everybody had to be on. Everything was hiding. Ball retention and possession, for me, was very, very weak when we went one guy down, and that part hurt a lot. And that's one of the things that had me thinking about, you got to get Yildiz. At halftime, I was saying probably Yildiz for Miretti would go a long way. He had options. Cambiasso in the middle of the park. Like, there was options for Max to work with, okay? But we'll go through the first half. Cambiaghi with a solid shot that got deflected in the 25th minute. That was actually a big stop by Tech. Really big save. 27-minute Cambiaghi again, this time curling it from the far side. One hopper that Tech eventually has to deal with and parries it away. 46th minute, right before halftime, Miretti gets gifted the ball from Giesi. And he just took too long. He just took too long.
I was screaming when that happened. That was the chance.
Yeah, I mean, at this time, like, it was very, very frustrating. Like I said, the thing that was especially heightened for me was the ball retention and possession. And Miretti was not where it needed to be in that regard. And when you throw on top of it, we did not want him and Kostic to begin with, because there's been two shockers leading up to this game.
Yeah.
Maybe Max has to take a little bit of heat here for that one too, but we'll get to that later, okay? So halftime, I'm thinking make a change. We don't get a change, okay? And it ends up okay as the 49th minute. McKennie and Cambiasso do incredible work, okay? They continue to do great stuff. They work it down there. We end up getting a corner kick here. Good delivery from Miretti, okay? So credit to him on the corner there. Good delivery. And Gatti gets up for it, heads it. It hits Alberto in the back. It pops up and sits there for Vlahovic on a platter. And he continues his streak, all right, and buries. 1-0 up for Juve. Looking good. Looking good. Well, if we sit comfortably at the best of times, we're probably going to sit comfortably at the worst of times, right, Nick? So, I mean,
I wouldn't expect any less from Max.
Yeah, I mean, we got it. And you're one man down. So, again, everything's got to get heightened in terms of possession. But after this goal, because up until this point, before we scored this goal, I was saying, Empoli's not really threatening us. They're not really testing us, even one man up. Like, they were not really doing much of anything. And I felt comfortable in switching Yildiz for Medetti and getting after it. You can risk a bit because Empoli wasn't really doing anything. Then all of a sudden, after we go 1-0 up, then they start pushing finally. Then they start growing more and more in this game, and we start looking worse and worse when we're on the ball. Literally being able to only get rid of it and clear it. So I was like, you need to bring in some players that can do something on the ball, with the ball at feet, even with some pressure, or be able to beat a guy. All of a sudden, the 1v1 and the dribbling skills become heightened because of the situation you're in. And 68 minute, like,
One player.
what's that?
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
absolutely need those 1v1 players in there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a big difference when you're in a situation like that, and we kind of tipped the balance with our lineup after we were one guy down, and it kind of changed things. We were able to get the lead, but again, they started to grow, and we started to struggle more and more and more. Some changes need to be made. They made some changes. Okay, Cancellieri ends up getting an opportunity, 68 minute, a header wide of goal. 2 minutes later, Baldanzi at the top of the area, a shot that ends up going through some legs right on the carpet, inside side netting, back post. I saw some, very few, but still some trying to go at Tech for this goal. I'm not going to put this one on Tech. It's like hidden side net there. It's going through legs. It sucks. For me, I'm frustrated because we didn't have numbers in our area, okay? Like, we were covered there. McKennie is watching his man. That his player distributes to Baldanzi. Locatelli had dropped back into the area. I think should have stayed higher up. I think we dropped off too much, and then he was very slow getting back, and it should have been pressure everywhere at the top of the area. Force them to the outsides. Don't give them anything to shoot there. But in the end, it's a shot that got through legs, that's along the carpet. It was nothing extravagant, and it was avoidable. And that's what frustrates. That's another one of the infuriating things about this game. But I had very little confidence that we were going to get another one at that point. How are you feeling when that 1-1 goes, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, right after that, as you said, the lead up, we could barely even get possession of the ball anymore. There was a few, one or two counterattacks with Cambiaso and Vlahovic exchanging the ball. But other than that, yeah, it totally not feel good. I was kind of yelling at Locatelli. Don't know if it was totally on him, but he should have stepped quicker. But if you look too, everyone was covering their man. Maybe the whole team was playing a little deep, but when you're playing a man down, I think that just shows how difficult it is. There's literally no margin for error.
Yeah.
So it kind of is a situation. It is what it is. Definitely no criticism on Chesney there. That's crazy to me. With all those players landing in there, how are you going to see that? You try. That's a matter of you try going in goal and saving that.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, any shots that go through the legs, you're already at disadvantage. Some that goes right inside the side netting from there, top of the area, like on the post, that's tough. That's a tough ask. We got to be serious here. In terms of the Locatelli step up, yeah, that's kind of where I was not happy with, and I'm not happy with the fact that watching, like I said, the defenders that are in our area for us, the second he starts coming back too far, I want to see one of those guys screaming, going nuts at him to push him forward. Say, you don't need to drop back here. Get up. Stay up on that man. And even that wasn't happening. But Locatelli's got to have the wherewithal there to realize he doesn't need to drop back into the area there. You've just left your man. You've dropped 6 steps back on Baldanzi for no reason. For absolutely no reason. So you've given him that space to collect the ball and then fire. And...
Yeah.
He did get down. He did close down. It's not like we're talking a huge amount, but it's enough space, and it's at the top of the area where something can happen. You just can't do that. So
that's just simple as that.
Yeah, and like I said, that's a frustrating one because I think we could have easily avoided it. In the end, 1-1, and we make some changes, okay? We bring on Yildiz, we bring on Illing Jr. They tried to make something happen, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit too much to overcome, and it's a little too late, and Max gets heat from a lot for not making those changes a bit sooner and whatnot. It is what it is. We go 1-1 in this one. And towards the end, this actually got a little sketchy because after they go up 1-0, we started to almost lose our cool as they broke through twice. Weah made a good intervention. Gatti almost got caught when Bremer had stepped forward, and Tech had to make a big stop there. I believe it might have been on Cambiaghi. That was around 81st minute. And then, yeah, outside of that, a couple of drives where, maybe Vlahovic almost got turned on his man. Yildiz made a great run, was weaving in and out on one defender, just couldn't set up for a shot. But it's too little, too late. And should those changes have happened sooner? Probably, in the grand scheme of things. But Max had a quote, and I'm not going to dwell on it because it was actually a fantastic quote. And it said, "Ghost cities are built in hindsight." And I actually do love it. And I know that people are going to be frustrated with the result and not care what he has to say, but it's actually true. You live and die by certain things. And Max, we're going to talk about Max and the criticism I have. But if you have to name, we're going to get man of the match out of the way. You have to name a man of the match in this one for Juventus. Who would it be out of the performers there, Nick?
So I have one in mind. Might be a little surprising, and so I'll explain my reasoning even before I say. I felt like this player ran to cover every passing lane, went into every tackle hard. Even when we had the ball, tried getting up on the counterattack, just really put in that extra effort. You could tell his mentality was, we're down a man. I got to give 1,000% for the team. For me, it's Cambiaso, just because I did not see him stop running. I think he played pretty well in general with the ball, trying to get those counterattacks started up. And I saw that extra effort. I saw that fino alla fine mentality from Cambiaso.
Yeah. I have no problems with Cambiaso. When he moved into the middle of the pitch, it actually helped tremendously. Once he got moved inside, we could make the argument maybe that should have happened a little bit sooner too. But again, it is what it is. You make calls, you make decisions, some wrong, some good. It is what it is, right? Should have never been in the position to have to make these calls, though. But we've got some shouts for McKenny. We've got DV9, all right? We've got Locatelli. We got Bremer, all right? Bremer, a unit yesterday. Yeah, Mark Bremer. For me, I'm actually going to give it to West just because he gritted his teeth and he busted his ass in that game, all right? I know we need more, and the emphasis is going to be on some of these guys that we're trying to get something going offensively and everything, but McKennie continues to just bust his ass for us, and it's actually big, right? We just needed a little bit more balance with even the 10 men on a little bit more offensive flair to just kind of hurt Empoli a bit more. But in the end, we got to get to this lineup because everybody came at Max hard again for that Milik start and say it's his fault. He starts Milik. Was it France's coach's fault for starting Zidane in a World Cup final when he headbutts Materazzi and gets sent out? Is that the coach's fault? Or is that Zinedine Zidane's fault? What are we talking about here? These players are responsible for their own behaviors. No player should put their team or their coach in a situation where a straightforward game becomes compromised. I am not blaming Max for starting Milik. To me, that's overboard. Grossly overboard. What I will say about Max, though, as I said, I do have some criticisms. Because of the compromisation that went down when Milik does that, it's almost like Max was playing with a bit of fire. Max was playing with a bit of fire. We talked about that left side. Everybody had concerns about that left side. It didn't
Yeah.
look good for multiple games leading into this one. But we did it again. Did he have options to not do that? Yes, he did, because he had Hans Nicolucci Caviglia, which would have been an easy switch up. All right? You still have Yildiz. There's options. There was options too. Cambiasso can play inside. Weah could play outside. There's options there. Max, my one thing with him is, and this is both sides. I'm going to explain to everybody both sides. Okay? You have, okay, a coach that gives these players should love Max, okay, because he gives them so much leash, it's freaking insane, okay? Miretti has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, but Max is going to start to live and die by this. And he's given maybe too much leash, even Kostic, okay? But in this instance, if it doesn't go down one man, Juve, in 15th minute, he probably still gets away with it. And it's just fine. But it becomes a situation where you've played with fire, and when you went one down, it kind of maybe started to really shine a light on that balance is not there, and it's kind of needs to be corrected, and he didn't react maybe quick enough. All right? But this is the good and bad about giving guys too much leash. Szczesny, the shouts were there after, we're talking blunders, left, right, and center, start of multiple season, whatever, but he ride it out. Ride it out. You show that faith, you show that confidence. Tech has cleaned it up each and every time that has happened and then been a beast. He's been great for us after, the Sassuolo ridiculousness, right? And then people are saying enough of this, get Petting in, whatever. So there's good sides to showing that faith in players. But there's also the time when it's been a little too much and now you're going to start taking a bit of the heat. Did Miretti have to play in this game? I don't think so. And I get it. And this is not to just pick on Miretti either, because he's a young guy, whatnot, but it's at the point now where we're lying to ourselves if we're saying really anything of his game is coming through. Now it just turns into protecting a young guy. And this is where my criticism of Max in this game comes, is that you played with fire. You probably would have been safe, but it ultimately comes down to the blunder of Milik. Nick, kind of your thoughts. Do you agree with me and he gives too much leash and maybe it finally just kind of stung him?
Yeah, I think ultimately, absolutely. I do like the ideas that, look, playing these youngsters is a good thing, given them the minutes, given the experience. If anything, maybe Miretti should be playing against Empoli. However, like you said, now it's game after game after game. He's had his chances against tougher teams. Now we get to Empoli, and sure, okay, maybe putting Miretti in Empoli is a good idea. However, so far, you said that long leash, he hasn't proved himself on the field. If anything, he's proved he's not capable yet. He had options, but for me, honestly, the imbalance on that side is really also comes from Kostic. I'm pretty critical myself on Kostic, right?
Yeah.
And this might sound a little like I'm contradicting myself, but try out Illing Jr. Try him out, see what happens. Has Illing gotten a start this year so far?
Yeah. I think he got one start. Did he? No, actually, no starts. I think they've all been off the bench. Maybe one
Yeah,
start. I could pull it up, though, but keep going with your thoughts there.
yeah. I think that, look, Kostic, same thing as Miretti. The only exception being that he's not a young player. He has that experience. Try out Illing Jr. See what happens. And I also think that could be contributing.
Zero started.
Yeah. So try it out. See what happens. Kostic, I think it's the same point as Miretti. It's mistake after mistake, bad performance after bad performance. Switch it up.
Yeah.
And that imbalance on the left side, look, that McKennie Cambiaso or McKennie Weah is working beautifully. On that left side,
And Coppa Italia. Coppa Italia for Illing Jr., but league, no league starts. No league
okay.
starts.
I was actually thinking that on my head, but I think might be contributing to either Miretti's unsuccessful play, might be having Kostic there, or they don't have that chemistry there. And I think Max has to figure out some solution, whether it's changing a position, changing a player there. You got to be a chemist, Max. Find that chemistry between the players. It's clearly not there, even if it's not individually a Miretti problem or individually a Kostic problem.
Yeah. It's something there that, for a guy like Max who's all about balance, you gotta like I'm surprised. I'm at the point where I'm kind of surprised. I don't think that, we're so strong defensively on the left side that it protects Kostic and makes him a must start. I think that ship sailed quite a while ago, to be
Yeah.
honest. Even when Danilo's back there and it's not Sandro, and again, credit to Sandro, as a bunch of us had our concerns. He was great yesterday. He was great yesterday. So credit to Sandro. And that's coming from me. But here we go. Probably my only agenda is wanting to say goodbye for a while. But listen, he was solid. A guy like Max, I'm surprised because the left side had absolutely nothing and has had absolutely nothing for quite some time. But Rabiot, that impact, you still have to figure it out when he's not there. Miretti hasn't brought that. Okay. Cambiaso, massive. Massive in just a simple change of moving him over to there, even while Kostic was out there. But Max has options. You have very versatile players in Weah, in Illing Jr., in Cambiaso. You have to find something. We can't go into games and always worry about one side of the lineup. It's about finding that balance. But again, overall, as quite a few have said in the live chat, it's Empoli, right? And if you are going to play with fire, so to speak, and go against something that we could see maybe isn't working, this should be the game that they should still cross the line. But ultimately, I don't care who you're playing against, because one of the most used lines I saw yesterday is, it doesn't matter if you're one man down. It is Empoli. You win and you attack them. You go, rah, rah, rah. Look, I don't give a shit who you're playing against. 15th minute. Down one man from the 15th minute. That is very, very difficult, okay? For me, ultimately, my biggest frustration in yesterday's game still comes down to Milik, okay? Yes, I called him a donkey, okay? He was yesterday's donkey, but he can be tomorrow's hero, because that's the beauty of sports, and it happens. All we have to do, shake it off, regroup, refocus, because the next one just became way more important, all right? And now we get into our thoughts, because you could see there's a few comments out there that say the Scudetto is lost. Nick, how do you feel about that right now? And do you share those same sentiments that is it for the race?
It's definitely not it. Is it a little harder? Is it harder? 100%. But it was never going to be easy. It always was going to be a bloodbath. And look, we got to play Inter, right? We got to get fired up for Inter. If we beat Inter, sure, if they win their game in hand, they're still ahead. But they're only ahead by one game. We cannot say it's over. Fino alla fine, everyone. If we
Yeah.
lose next week, maybe, yeah, the alarm bells can start ringing. But put our heads down, get to work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all of this, looking at all of this, okay? For me, the race is not over. My God. 16 games are made. There's so much football left to play. So much can happen. Okay? But when we go at, the change in feeling is sometimes so wild. We're praising Max because we're on a massive unbeaten streak. That unbeaten streak continues, everybody. Okay? So we did not suffer defeat, and I'm not so sure that we wouldn't have lost that game in the previous seasons based on our mentality and the way we were. one man down, I don't care against who, from the 15th minute, I would almost bet 80% that we'd probably lose that in the previous 2 seasons. Would you feel the same way, Nick, in saying that?
Absolutely. And look, I actually think in certain points the team played decently with 10 men. It really wasn't a bad performance for 10 men. Yes, it's against Empoli, but this wasn't a game that we just tied because we went 11v11 and played terribly. Then I could see people saying, oh, it's unsustainable. What are you doing, Max? I could buy that. But we played 10 men for 75 minutes
Yeah.
and did okay.
My criticisms, not starting lineup. Okay, I got bad feelings for Milik in that one. You just can't do that. Max probably should have reacted at halftime. Probably should have reacted at halftime. Despite that, though, and despite lineups and everything, we were 1-0 up. Let an equalizer that could have been avoidable in the 70th minute. Otherwise, we're kind of still working through that and home free. It doesn't die here all of a sudden, okay? And it kind of blows me away that all the good stuff, all the praise, all the respect, all the credit finally going to Max. Now all of a sudden it's get Allegri out of here immediately and all this and whatnot. It's like, just take a look at everything that went down and let's just analyze this a little rationally, because yes, the feelings are brutal and some feel that this race is over. I don't feel that, okay? And let's just bring it down and relax. 2 points up. Yes, they have 2 games in hand, but one is a direct matchup with us. Do we lose momentum because of this game? I'm going to say no, because of the fact of what went down, which is losing a player in the 15th minute changes everything. And in retrospect, you should be looking at it as a positive to get that point. And I get it. It's Empoli. Their relegation battle and everything. But you know what? Ultimately, we did not suffer defeat. We still have a direct game against Inter. I think you have to forget this one, okay? You have to absolutely erase it and get back to work. Rabiot is supposed to be back in. That'll be a big boost for Juventus, okay? And as far as Chiesa, Yildiz, all this, we got to wait and see. I've been saying I don't think Chiesa's going to get in there from the start because he hasn't played for a while. And I'm expecting Yildiz to start in this matchup against Inter. We have to just wait and see. But over? No. Far, far from over. Okay? A lot of football to play. It's just, like I said, these games are crazy. And when you get a player that has to be taken off like that, it was a game changer. Absolutely anything can happen. The confidence was just out of there, and you have to watch what are we going to do? How are we going to create? Who's going to help and support Vlahovic? And little subtle shifts on the fly that you can kind of see with some player movement, spaces that they occupy. You had there was so much going on in that game. I'm okay with it ending up a draw, especially when we talked about those 2 opportunities, Nick, where they started to get behind us and penetrate later on when we started to get a little loose at the back. Yeah, we just had to get out there with that point and attack this next game. We just got to attack it full throttle. Now, as far as the race and Inter, how do you does this game change your confidence level going into that game? Because the streak is still alive as far as unbeaten. We're still hard to break down in terms of the goals and everything. Our goal scoring has been great to start this year. This is the only time it slowed up. But again, one man down. So, Nick, where are you at a confidence level going into that game? And everybody in the chat, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, this has not affected my confidence level whatsoever. I think everyone did what they could to try to win the game. The mentality, in my opinion, was correct yesterday after we won a men down. I think any mistakes we made were more on the technical side and more of, okay, players need to grow and learn from these mistakes. It wasn't a mental issue. That this team right now, I think we're cooking. Even when we were 11v11, we had some good passing, one touch passing, counterattack. Even down a man, we saw some of that. So I think we should not lose confidence at all going into this Inter game. We need to get fired up. That now the stakes are higher. Absolutely, the stakes are even higher now because we didn't get that win. But from a
Yeah.
confidence point of view, we cannot let our confidence drop.
Now here's the thing, okay? If something, an upset happens today, okay, at 11:45 a.m. my time, if something crazy happens there, okay, and I don't know how crazy it would be because they're playing away and they're without Chalanoglu and Barella. Yes, they have depth, okay? They should be getting the result there, okay? But well, you can't build houses with should. So here's the thing, okay? Anything can happen. If that doesn't end up in 3 points for Inter, I feel even more confident and ready. But I'm still, with everybody kind of here, I'm hovering around that 8 out of 10 range. 7 or 8 out of 10, okay? We got 8 here. We got 8, 7 to 8, 7, 9.5 from Tony Trim. Jesus Christ, my spirit animal, all right? Sev coming in here at an 8. Calvin Jones at a 7. I'm kind of with you guys. I'm in that 7 to 8 range, all right? Now, for me, no momentum is lost in what happened yesterday. And a lot of the guys that tackled the microphone after the game said the right thing in terms that it's a hell of a lot against any team in Serie A to still come out with a point, okay? When you're down for that amount of time, okay? It's not like FIFA where you lose a guy, it doesn't really affect you and you can still cook. You can play your game. You can go full out attack. You can dial up the pressure and just press and score. Yeah. No. This is real life. It's a lot different. And there's a lot at stake. Okay. And things change through games. Things change. Moments change seasons. Okay. And some feel that this moment is the one where it's lost. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have to just wait and see what goes down. They have 2 games in hand. They're going to play one of those 2 today. Even if they get the 3 points, okay? And they take that 1 point advantage. They have 1 game in hand. They will still have 1 game in hand after we face them. But if Juventus gets the result, it still puts us in beautiful position. Still puts us in beautiful position there, okay? Everything is not lost. Next week, probably more important. But it might go back to the same level of importance as it was before. Because before we dropped this game, I said that's not a title decider next week. Do you think it's a title decider if, say, they win today against Fiorentina? Do you think that's the title decider, Nick?
Absolutely not. Today, no. With Fiorentina, absolutely not. If they pull away the win today and then
No, I'm saying if they get the win today,
yeah,
like next week, title decider before this game. Like, let's say before we drew Empoli,
yeah.
were you believing that was the title decider?
No, I don't think it's a title decider, but it definitely can swing the momentum.
Is it a title decider now if they beat Fiorentina?
No, I like the numbers, right? 4 points. It'd be 4 points. I mean, they have the game in hand.
And a game in hand, which, if that becomes a victory, is 7.
It's not. I'm going to say it's not a title decider, but it will severely compromise the position.
Yeah. At 7, if I'm looking at things, that's a tough cookie there at 7. Looking at
crazy things have happened, right? Juve lost the Scudetto back in the day to Lazio with a 7-point lead on them with only with far fewer games to play.
So I think they crammed the makeup game for them in March. I'm pretty sure they slipped it, or no, late February. They're gonna have it late February with Atalanta there. They obviously will have Champions League wrapping up or kicking off with Atletico Madrid February 20th in the knockouts there. So after us, it's Roma. Then they'll have Salernitana, like Lecce, Atalanta, Genoa, Bologna. That's a difficult month amidst the two knockouts with Atletico Madrid. Then they'll have Napoli, who's not the Napoli of last season. Empoli, Udinese, Cagliari. They got another one with Milan, another derby there, but Milan has not been able to make that much of anything as of late. It's going to be tough, I think, if it hits 7 points, man, but it's not out of the question, okay? But I think if they get the job done today against Fiorentina, for us to be really into it, you've got to win at the San Siro for us to really make that push. I think 7, if they can hit 7. But of course, they won't be at 7 until they get that makeup game in, right? February 28th. So, it's funny how that vision sometimes works with your mind and whatnot, but the 7 is also not a guarantee. So let's just see. Let's see what happens. But there's a lot of football left. Anything can happen in both directions and for both clubs. So one game at a time. This one got away from us. Just got to be better, man. Just got to clean it up and got to dial things up. We'll see what happens, okay? We'll see what happens. Big one next week. It was a big one before. It may have just become massive towards that Scudetto chase, but we'll see what happens. Guys, storm the barn questions. Fire away, okay? Fire away. I know that there's like a lot of performance things, and we go at players. Miretti, I keep getting messages and everything like he just can't play. We can't play him and everything. I think some things need to be changed as far as the totem pole goes, and Max gets a lot of heat for guys like Sandro starting over Rugani and everything, even though he's not an issue there or whatnot. Like, as far as the players go, I mean, we can see some changes, all right? We could see some changes that happen, that could maybe shift the balance and help us a bit. But overall, we're literally like, what, a week, 2 weeks out from saying Max has pulled all the right strings in terms of the roster and everything. So I don't really have too much like feelings towards guys that are ripping on the players or the minutes and everything like that. I've really felt like it's been balanced pretty good, especially one competition outside of Coppa Italia. You know what I mean? I feel like the balance is okay in terms of minutes. Maybe just Kostic, right? And
Absolutely.
why can't we see Cambiasso back on that side? And I'm curious to see Cambiasso work with even Yildiz, not just Chiesa. He does have something good going with McKennie, but Weah and McKennie isn't bad at all. And one of the things that I thought looked pretty damn good actually when it happened was Illing and Yildiz sharing the left side was actually really good to watch, and might be something, to kind of just say, hey, you know what? Let's give some more things a go. What do you feel about trying something new as we wait for some of these Storm the Barn questions to come in, Nick?
Yeah. And all for trying new things. I think we have to. This is the year to do it. Absolutely. With a team like Empoli. But also, you mentioned Illing and Ildiz. They played together on Next Gen, right? Why wouldn't we build off that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's not make or break. Nobody's saying this is make or break, right? But, the options are there for Max. And like I said, though, leash. He gives players a ton of leash. And when it doesn't work out, yeah, Max takes the brunt of it beyond like player performances and execution and stuff. Like he takes the brunt of that. But, you know, you're giving Miretti a ton of leash. Kostic has had a ton of leash, I think. Like, I think you can have the confidence in going to these guys maybe a little bit more, and you have a lot of flexibility with a guy like Cambiaso, and I think there's options to be had there to strengthen both sides. Why do we need to go into a game? And I get it that everything's been working. He has been pulling the strings well, and we are getting results. We're unbeaten in 17 in league play now, okay? But you shouldn't be going into games like, oh, is that left side going to be a problem? You know, and having doubts. Like, shore it up. I think we have enough. That's the only point I'm going to be making, is that if there's any criticism, while I think he's done a fantastic job still, and not taking that away, like, why not just clean up the balance? Like, you have the options. You have that ability. He's got a ton of options at his disposal, which we didn't have in the past couple of years. Now you have those options.
Wasn't there something that came out a few years ago with Allegri? In 100 games, he
the lineup, yeah,
he changed the lineup up. Right? What happened now?
Like, yeah, it's wild how there was like just one subtle change all the time, and it was like, yeah, a million different lineup possibilities. Yeah, it's interesting, but you know, and it's just not to pick on the individuals like Kostic, Miretti, or anything, but like I say, when you see it, and you've seen it for back-to-back games, it raises the question of, is Max giving a little too much leash to guys? That's all I'm saying. But overall, Max is doing a fantastic job. The players are doing a fantastic job. It was a shitty moment that altered that game yesterday. Otherwise, I think we're having a completely different discussion. If that red doesn't go down, I think we're having a victory show this Sunday, and I think we feel absolutely fine going into it. And that's why it won't hinder my confidence going into that game. It won't hinder my confidence because of that moment. All right. Now, James, if Arthur scores the winner against Merda, do you slot him into Juve's midfield next season? No. The aim should still be to sell him. All right. But I might show him a little bit of love, all right? We'll show any of those players a little bit of love. But, guys, I'm going to be honest. I hate banking on anybody in Serie A, and I sure as hell ain't going to bank on Fiorentina, right? Prove me wrong, though. Prove me wrong. Where's all the Italiano powers to be and everything that are out there? And, you know, like, Rog, this guy, like, let's get some love for him and get the result there. But I don't see it happening, you guys. I don't see it happening. Forza Inter. Oh, this guy. He's good though. He's good though. Okay, one of the very few that's okay, but barely okay. What if you lose next week, Berto? Then what? Well, what if you lose next week? You feel confident? I'm 8 out of 10, buddy, that we get the job done. Okay, but I know I'll hear from you every single day leading up to that game, and should it not go our way, I expect to hear from you every single day, and I'm okay with it. Let's see where the chips fall. All to play for. A big Derby d'Italia. You know what? The last one didn't have that spice to it. You know what I mean, Nick? Like, it was a pretty
it was lame
Derby d'Italia.
Yeah.
You know,
even just the game in general, I feel it was just very tactical. No one was trying to go for that win. I think we were just feeling each other out.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. For me, it's like it just didn't have the spice. They were both seemingly content to walk away with that draw, but Inzaghi and Allegri are almost like the same guy, other than Inzaghi's chins. It is what it is, and the tears. But you know, from old Limone. But it's okay. It's okay. And hey, Forza Inter, don't get too touchy on my jokes there about Limone. Okay? No, you guys are touchy. Hey? But no, it's all good. Max, I've been talking about this. And some fans are like, well, no, you shouldn't have been saying all this stuff and all that. No, I have no problems with what Max's demeanor. To be honest, you guys, after everything that this team has gone through, especially last season and everything, and feeling so hard done by and everything, which I think that whole thing was a load of shit last season, okay? Rivals won't agree with it. They won't think so or anything. But here's the thing, okay? I don't feel like Max had many in his corner, maybe internally. I had a really good discussion with someone that's got a lot of connections with Juve and whatnot, and I just feel like he didn't have enough in his corner, maybe, and maybe he feels some disrespect or whatnot. But like, and now that things are kind of shifting in a big way, which we can all agree on, I feel like he's embodied Amici di Nessuno, man. Like, I swear to God, like, and this is why I am reconnecting with Max the way I was in the heart of his first stint. Because now he's showing the edge, like, out there with the media and stuff. Like, he's embodying Amici di Nessuno for Juve, and he's taking all of that away from the players. I'm reconnecting with this guy, man, and, like, his attitude, the demeanor, and everything, I love it. I love it. Whether we get the trophies or not, it's like, you know, part of that identity that we needed to get back. Is like, give your nuts a fucking squeeze. This is Juve. Have confidence. Have faith. Don't give up. Don't quit. Like, keep fucking fighting. Like, I've respected that a lot about Max. And I literally feel he's embodying Amici di Nessuno. Do you share those sentiments, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, all his comments in the media, uh, Max, like now I maybe tone it down just a little bit. Let's not get too cocky. But I do appreciate that mentality from him before he's saying things like, "Oh no, we're not in the Scudetto race." He's still kind of not acknowledging it. Just top four, top four. Oh, we got a good point today. I think he even said that yesterday. That those hierarchies of his mentality are starting to shift. He's definitely building that confidence himself and kind of building that image around him and the team. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to see, depending on what happens next week, that press conference from him.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild week, everybody, leading up to that one. And wait for the quotes to be rocking. You've got Marotta, who sees it all with that eye of Mordor, all right? So you know he's seeing everything that's out there in media. And they're going to be firing back and forth. It's just going to add spice. And Serie A would be smart to capitalize on this battle with some serious promotion, some serious, heat to it, and watch them fall flat on their face. Can't wait. Because, yeah, I could just see them blowing what's going to be one of the biggest Derby d'Italias in a long time. A lot of spice being added to it by Marotta and Allegri. And they'll drop the ball, all right? But we'll see what goes down. Now, Storm the Barn. We got some. I think the first one is definitely going to be for you. So, was excessive force part of the equation for the Milik Red since there was none? I don't know if there was none.
So we have excessive force in there. If you look where he's coming from, he's running full speed, a full about 10 yards. He's running full speed, goes sliding in with that straight leg. So I actually didn't go through this because I think me and Alberto both agreed it was pretty clear. But our 4 points just go through very quickly. We have studs above the ankle. Okay, we have extended leg. We even see the leg kind of just literally from a bent position go out like that. So we have force, we have point of contact, we have location. I think I said studs already. Everything is there. That's excessive force, right? If it was just a lunge where he didn't run up to it and go sliding in, then you can argue that's not excessive force. That's reckless instead. But yeah, easily excessive force.
There you go. There you go. Mark 1, if Chiesa is still out against Inter, who should play up front as a substitute for Yildiz and Vlahovic? So we got to talk about this because it's in the news, and we brought it up yesterday on the pregame show. Is it a mistake to maybe let Keane go right now? I don't think it's in our hands because he wants to go to get minutes, but let's say Juve could still ultimately say no, like we want you down the stretch. Who comes in? Well, Milik's gone, suspended. Okay. You've got Chiesa off the bench. You've got Yildiz. You've got Vlahovic. If you need to make a change up there, you're looking at bringing up someone from the next gen. To be honest, though, I will say this. Vlahovic is pretty much going to have to go 90. He's going to have to go 90. And if not, you're going to go with a variation in attack, and it's not going to have a striker, probably, unless they pull up a young guy and feel they want to go that way. But options up front outside of these three guys, I would try playing probably Weah up top first and foremost as like this second forward to Vlahovic. I think he'd be very, very interesting to see up there. The guy's got a really, really good shot. We just don't get him in positions to shoot often enough. I know he had that opportunity. Chiesa dropped to him off a cross that he headed down, and then Weah missed the goal. Yeah, I think you're going to have to look at those guys, really, if it comes down to it. But we might be banking, on Vlahovic to play 90. What do you think about Weah up top there, Nick?
Yeah, Vlahovic has to play 90. I didn't even think of Weah. I think that's a good idea. I was more just thinking Illing Jr., right?
That's another one too, right?
But yeah, I think Weah is a great idea. Get someone a little more experienced with similar qualities and with pace. I think that's the way to go. We need one guy with pace, and then you need your target man who can get up in the air, who has that strength, right? Vlahovic has been doing that well. Vlahovic has to go 90, no question about it.
Yeah.
But a Weah pairing could work great.
Yeah, but ultimately, if we're looking at subs up there, Chiesa coming on for Yildiz is probably it, and then we go from there, right? It's going to be Chiesa. This is another topic that's kind of come up. It's not in Storm the Barns, all right, but a lot of messages came into me and everything that we were talking about, and it's the impact of Chiesa. And there's a lot of fans that have kind of got into this moment right now where they're like, oh, Chiesa, let's sell, let's cash in and whatnot. But I still think, like, if I'm looking at this guy, okay, and I'm looking at his performances, yes, the numbers are not where I think they need to be, but yeah, he's got quite a few missed chances to his name, as did Vlahovic before he turned it around. But I still think Chiesa's impact on this team is massive when he's in there. I think it's massive. I don't think it can be denied. And while the numbers aren't there, I haven't felt like he's been putting up stinkers, because I look at the performance and it's like he's creating, he's working hard, he's got the attitude, he's got the fight, and not just missed chances on his end, but he's set up teammates on a lot of occasions where they also haven't finished. We just highlighted Weah's, right? And it's one of those things, right? It's one of those things where I think his impact is massive, but we had an interesting question come up with somebody having to go, and if you had to sell, as things stand right now, out of Bremer, Vlahovic, and Chiesa, it was unanimous to be Fede. But how do you feel about his impact on the team? Is it less now that we see what Yildiz can do, or is it still at the same height?
Nah, what's instilled in my mind is when Vlahovic was in his slump and he was getting heavily criticized. One point I always brought up was about Chiesa. How many balls did Chiesa give to Vlahovic that he just totally shanked? How many? Chiesa could easily have 5 more assists this season if some shots, not just from Vlahovic, were just totally shanked. I understand the concerns for Chiesa. For me, it's more of a question of his fitness, not the way he's playing on the field.
Yeah, it's and that's the one driving concern there is the fitness, and we will have to see if he can, stay fit and keep it rocking consecutively. It's an interesting situation that comes up with him, but we'll see what goes down. Storm the Barn from Sev. If Martinez today goes spikes up like Milik did, does it get called? Yellow. Yellow, no review.
Who's the referee? I'm actually curious. I'm looking right now.
Okay, check it out. Check it out. We'll get to the next one from Forza Juve there. Would you sell Dusan in the summer if he continues his form for the rest of the season? He's an absolute beast with. Well, this is what I always said. The only times I criticized Dusan Vlahovic was when it was going bad, and I said it can't happen on the money he's on. Right now, he's our guy, and he's been our guy for 2024 to kick off the season. If this is the Dusan we get straight through, we don't have a problem, and we don't have a discussion, and I'm happy with the money. You know what I mean? It all comes down to the money. If you're on that money, you have to be the guy. It can't be in question. It was in question. So that's how I feel about it. But if he keeps this up all season out, absolutely not. Do you sell him? Nick?
Keep this up. He's easily hitting over 25 goals if he keeps this up.
Yeah.
For an entire season. That's the player we need. There's no question.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we go, should Max acknowledging the Scudetto race publicly or keep going on about forward 60 points off top forward center? To be honest, if it didn't rattle cages so much, I would say, yeah, just finally acknowledge it. But the fact that it's rattling everyone so much, I love it. And it's kind of going back to this disrespect. And I'm going to just highlight this one right now just so that I don't lose it in where it's going in the chat, because I think there's some serious banter right now going on with Forza Inter there and everything. But it's good. Hey, get used to it, man. It's Derby week, Derby d'Italia. It's going to happen. But always a good sport, and I do appreciate that he's in there and always liking the video. So, like I said, there's very few that are tolerable, but maybe, just maybe, this one Inter supporter, maybe, just maybe, their mother did not drink during pregnancy, okay? But still made a mistake in choosing your club, but that's okay. Now, when it comes to Max, I talked about that respect thing. You know what I mean, Nick? And respect, I feel like, hasn't been given to Juve. Nobody banked on us being in here, because somebody threw that at me and said, oh, you love him talking like this. Also, what happened to winning is all that matters. And I said, winning is all that matters, but you're missing the key element, okay? The key element is that everyone ruled us out and said, even with one competition, no, nobody showed us respect. Even when we started the streak and we're winning, you guys aren't convincing. No, they're just pretenders. This is going to catch up. It's unsustainable. All this is a respect thing from Max.
Yeah.
This is a respect thing. And if you want to play those games, he's just giving it right back to you. Say, no, we're just top four. We just want to make top four, get back in the Champions League. We're not supposed to be here. All you guys ruled us out. You say we can't do this. Here we are. So if you don't want to show us the respect or give us that respect, okay, no problem. We'll play that game. And I have no problems with what he's doing it, because everybody knows, and we all know, we're in the race. Okay? We all know that. Everybody can put that together. But that's a respect thing. And to me, that's him just saying, you want to play the games? We'll play the games. And I have no problems with it. Nick, do you agree with me? Or are you feeling like he should publicly just come out and acknowledge it?
No, I absolutely agree with you. Look, there's a lot of things that you can criticize Max for. His media presence is not one of them. Let him cook, right? I'm thinking of him right now as a classier version of Jose Mourinho right now. I'm loving the banter, and he's doing it in the most graceful way you can possibly do it, and it just makes it that much better. Let him do his job there.
Yeah. Mark one says, Alberto, you're a betting man. What's your bet with one of the top Inter players red carded today? 0%. 0%.
Plus 10,000 or something.
Yeah.
Put $1 on it just in case. But
oh man. And I know the banter in this chat with Forza Inter there. Oh my God, man, it's gold. But I will say this, that you want to come at us for Serie B and the trophy and whatnot, but Animesh, our boy here, medal, trophy, still better than cardboard. All right, still better than cardboard. Listen, the only reason that went down, it's kind of interesting, no? How none of them want to address the fact that all their wiretaps kind of just went missing. And it's just, is it a coincidence that the Telecoms Italia, head of Telecoms Italia at the moment was on the board for Inter? Is that kind of weird? Oh, man.
Not in Italy.
You,
No, it's normal in Italy. I don't know what you're talking about,
you
Alberto.
guys played dirty. You guys played dirty, but hey, you still can't kill us, man. We came back and what we do? 9 straight, baby. 9 straight. You guys, try and play dirty. It's okay. It's okay. You guys still can't kill us. You still can't kill us. You better hope you win that game next week. That's all I got to say. Maybe you better hope you win today, too. It's not, the game's got to get played for a reason, as we saw yesterday, all right? Let's see what goes down. But I appreciate the banter. I love the banter. You guys keep it rolling. It's all good, okay? I could deal with it. But I'm not touchy. I'm not touchy. We know that the rivals, the Chihuahuas out there, a little touchy. I'm okay, though. You guys, it's going to be an intense week. Get ready for it, okay? Leading into this one. But, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I think for us, honestly, I think I'm still sitting okay as far as the confidence level goes and everything going there. We did not lose any momentum or anything of what went down yesterday. Max will have the guys rolling. We get key pieces back, okay? I see zero fucking around at the San Siro, okay? Any questions, any decision, whatever, no. Like, it's going to be your top guys for us in there going at it against their top guys, and the best team will win that game, okay? But will there be some controversy? I say yes.
Let's hope.
Yes.
It's more fun when there's a little bit.
There's going to be some controversy in that one.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But we'll see. We'll see. I agree with Alex P. We got him exactly where we want him, all right? And you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Okay, everybody? Everything happens for a reason. And listen to my friend Michael Rasso here. Like the video, everybody, while you're in here. Of course, subscribe to the channel, but share the content. Clip whatever you want. Fire it out, okay? We love it when you do that. But listen, everything happens for a reason. And maybe, just maybe, this draw gives them that little pick-me-up to make them feel really confident, going into next week, just so we can slap them across the face and give them the day, all right? So everything happens for a reason. Maybe we weren't meant to go into that game with a win in this one, and maybe we needed this little bit of humbling to sharpen up for that big one. Everything happens for a reason, everybody. We will see. But that one is going to be intense. And you betcha on that live watch along, we're getting the machine gun days every time Juve scores, okay, baby? I am jacked up for this one already. The blood's pumping, man. I'm fired up, okay? I might take one of my kits and carve that bastard up, and we're going to go sleeveless, all right? And I'm going to rock the guns, okay? Because the days might be flying. It's going to be big, okay? The jersey winners will be announced on a post, all right, as they have been chosen off Instagram and Twitter, all right? So that is coming up later today, okay? But again, you guys, get ready because the shit talk is going to be flying all week. Nick, are you ready for the banter?
Oh, I'm absolutely ready. And I actually got to give one slight shout out to all the watch parties that are happening around North America. Everyone, go out. This is the Derby d'Italia. We need to be together in force. All right. I'll be in New York. Okay. Juventus Club Empire State. I have a lot of buddies all around the country. All right. All around the world. Get out. Let's show that Gobbo Diena in full force around the world, everyone.
That's right, everybody. We partner up, and yes, we've got my particular club, all right, that I'm a member of, Juventus Official Fan Club Vancouver, all right. Alessandro Del Piero, named after Del Piero as well. Look, the work that they do is incredible, and I am incredibly honored to be partnered up with the ones in North America, but worldwide there are amazing Juventus official fan clubs. Join one near you. If you need help in North America, and it's growing, all the time, constantly, all right? I believe they've hit 20 clubs already. There's more waiting to become official. If you need help reaching out and finding the one nearest you, please reach out, okay? But what they do is incredible in not just the watch parties, which are amazing, okay? But it's all the little things that they do to bring you closer to the club, helping you with your experience when you go there to the stadium, all right? They help you with that. And the tickets, the access, the perks, everything is there. And again, it's not even like a fan club. Like, you become family. All right. We've got Reno in here. We've got James from Vancouver. I've got Jeremy that's usually always commenting on all my stuff and whatnot. We've got all the guys in Toronto, Trim, John Grow, the president. All right. It's fantastic. And Marcella, of course, with Empire State. Tal is always in here from Empire State. We've had them on the show. I'm happy Marcella is going to be joining me for the pregame for the Derby d'Italia, all right? We're going to get ready. This is a big week, everybody, and it's time for us to, get back where we belong, but that's going to be the statement game. Is Juve going to make it? I'm still confident. Everybody else should still remain confident. Like I said, everything happens for a reason, okay? I got to pick a kit to cut the sleeves off, because I'm going guns blazing this coming weekend, all right? Let's go. Let's go. Nick, absolute pleasure, okay, having you on. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you had fun. We always love, like I said, even the write-ups from that referee's perspective. I hope you had a lot of fun, man, and I can't wait for you to do it again, man.
Thank you so much for having me. Lots of fun seeing everyone in here too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, Tal, I was in here from Empire State. Let's go, okay? And look at that. Ohio trying to get one official fan club off the ground. I know that there's guys in Philly trying to get one off the ground. All right, so again, reach out, you guys. Let's keep growing the family. And I will say this. Little birdie tells me that, and I've been telling you guys for about a month, North America this summer might get a good shot at getting close to Juventus. So you're going to want to be a part of these official fan clubs, all right? Guys, take care, all right? Appreciate the support as always. We reached 5K. Onwards and upwards. We keep cooking, okay? Don't worry about what happened yesterday. Like I said, we might have needed that for a reason, okay? So let's rock. Fino alla fine. Forza Juve. Get ready for an intense week. I'll be bringing you the daily updates. I'll probably be sprinkling some spice on this Derby d'Italia. And then we'll get to business next weekend. Take care, everybody. Ciao tutti.
Yeah.